Okay, give me a second. I'll be with you shortly. This will be the topic of discussion. So we're talking about the truth about YouTube. Welcome to BWTM Sports, BWTM Online, BWTM Africa, and those of you across Facebook and Twitter. This video is a little different, but it's one that I think needs to be done, because if I don't do this video, a lot of people are going to be left in the dark, and we're still going to have people who think that they can just come across YouTube and go, ah ha ha, you've got a few views on YouTube, that's why your channel's crap. No, it's because my channel represents something. So what I'm going to do is read an article out. I can't actually bring the article up on this system for some bizarre reason, because what I'm going to do is go to the screen share, and I'm going to take you to the screen where it is, and the article. Hope you can see that. Let me see if I can bring it up. Let's get this off the way. There we go. And let's bring this article up. And share screen. Come on. Come on. Now we're going to have connection issues. Brilliant. Right. So let's get this up. Here's the. Right. There's the article for you. It brings up in full screen for you. Right. So the article you'll be looking at to do your research, which I've written from, is called "The YouTube Algorithm and the Alternative, or the Alt-Right Filter," and it's by D. Greiter. Sorry if I've destroyed your name there, but that's the article I'll be using. Let me get myself up this a second, and let me bring up. Let's get that YouTube background. So you'd have to look at my face while I'm talking about this. But I want you to be able to share the link in the comment section. Can I share the link in the comment section? Here we go. Put this here. Hopefully that link will show. That's the link. So you all can check that link out yourself. Let's get it across here. BWTL line. There's the link there. BWTN Sports. There's the link there. BWTM Africa. The link's there. YouTube. BWTM Africa. And BWTN Sports Gaming. Okay. So that's the article. That's the article I'm going to read from. Let me just, so you can get it and you can read the article yourself. Well, I'm going to read the article, and let me get this up. Bear with me a second. Let me pull this article up. As again, I can't show it on the screen because I don't know why exactly I can't show it on the screen. Let's put it on the screen. There we go. That's the article. So I'll just keep the article there for you to see. Now, so the article is called "The YouTube Algorithm." Let me get this up because it's written quite small. I'll zoom this up in 100. Please, at any time to feel to chip in, can do. Let me just get this up so I can read it. Right, let's get this bigger so I can read it properly. Right. It's too big. Let's try 125. Okay. Okay, brilliant. So I should begin this little read of the YouTube. Okay, so the article is a research article. It's by the Open Information Science of 2020. So this is a recent article. We're in 2021. It's foreign Valentina Bryan. The YouTube algorithm and the alternative, or the alt-right filter bubble. So It was received in October the 31st, 2019. It was accepted as dissertation on the April the 9th, 2020. Let's see, let's see. Okay. The link works perfect to the PDF there. Perfect. There you go. So you can get the link yourself and you can read along with Uncle Ingram. Listen, I read the first 10 minutes of this and I just got sickened by it. I just switched off afterwards, but I'm going to read it for you anyway. So let's go. I've now zoomed this in too big now, so I can't get the whole thing on one page. Let's get started. 525. Perfect. Right. Absolute algorithm is a combination. The screen is the truth about the YouTube image. Thank you very much, Leif. I'm going to begin to read this now. So let's get this here. Right. YouTube algorithm is a combination of program directives from engineers along with learned behaviors that have evolved through the OPEC process of machine learning, which makes the algorithms, directives, and programming hard to understand. Well, when we hear about the algorithm, it's always like this sort of secretness, this sort of code that nobody can understand. People at YouTube themselves don't understand when you ask them. No. Independent tests to replicate the algorithm have shown that the algorithm has a strong bias towards right-leaning politics videos, including the racist views expressed by the alternative right or alt-right community. While the algorithm seems to push users towards the alt-right, towards racist views expressed by the alt-right community, which makes the algorithm to understand. Independent tests to replicate the algorithm have shown that the algorithms have a strong bias towards right-leaning politics videos, including those racist views expressed by the alt-right community. While the algorithm seems to be pushing users towards the alt-right video content merely in an attempt to keep users in the cycle of video watching, the end result makes YouTube a powerful recruiting tool for neo-Nazis and the alt-right. Okay, let's keep going down this page. The bubble that this creates pushes users into a loop that reinforces radicalism instead of level-headed factual resources. This seems to happen a lot on YouTube. Keywords: YouTube, filter bubble, alt-right, neo-Nazi, algorithm, racism, search engine. YouTube is a source of not only entertainment, but information and instruction, with content that will teach users to do anything from style their hair to replace a car's battery. When asked about her company, Susan Walchik, I don't even pronounce the name because I'm disgusted, was eager to say, we're really more than like a library in many ways because of the sheer amount of videos we have and the ability for people to learn and look up any kind of information to learn about. Thompson, 2018. Yeah, I can't bring the text up on the screen, my friend. So that's why I've given people a link to download it. It won't come up on the screen. While YouTube may be a convenient source of information, YouTube is not like a library in many ways. The taxonomy and organizations are broad and ill-defined. Libraries, both physical and digital, are often created by librarians to include balanced voices that give patrons an accurate view of political, philosophical, literary, and other arguments. While YouTube's content is not curated as much as it's lightly moderated. YouTube does employ content moderators to remove disturbing content such as terrorism and child abuse from its servers, but this content does so much harm to their employers that Google is conducting experiments on some moderators to see whether technological interventions such as allowing workers to watch videos can harm. Newton, 2019. The publishing process that books, journals, magazines, and other publications go through before making their way to library shelves or electronic holdings create varying degrees of checks and balances, while YouTube's content is contributed by anyone with an internet connection. Basically, a fool can get an internet connection and start speaking on YouTube and just not be verified. Arguably, one of the last impartial spaces, libraries are unique because the information they offer does not come with hidden consumer or political agenda. YouTube has done mission statements, values, and frameworks that would have established best practice for an information commons, a system that does not just offer information in various formats, but builds ways to confirm the validity of the information and preserve it. The business was built upon a goal of making money and not informing or educating. Without regulation, pockets of users with a racist or political agenda found that they could manipulate the algorithm and take control of the way content was presented through both search engine optimization and aligning with political structures. Sophia Noble, the author of Algorithms of Oppression, reminds her audience that Google search is in fact an advertising platform. She continues by going, not intended solely to serve as a public information resource in the way that, say, a library might. Noble 2019. Noble and her groundbreaking research has paved the way for a larger conversation from many angles, which has brought about inequities in burgeoning technology. As a for-profit company, YouTube is not in a position to be an impartial third party, and indeed of that role, pushing and prodding its views indiscriminately towards its advertisement. The manipulative system is not in the root of the problem, but rather the directive the algorithm is told to aim for, resulted in an unintended consequence of its own. YouTube video recommendation system may be promoting racist viewpoints, which is distorting the overall perception of content on YouTube as a whole, and a dangerous misunderstanding, since the platform has taken on responsibility provided not only amusement and entertainment for the masses, but informing and educating them. The measure of success for a YouTube algorithm is convince the user to watch an additional video after the end of the first video is finished. The default behavior of YouTube player is to immediately play the suggested video, an issue in itself with consent. The algorithm improves through machine learning, which means every time it has a successful interaction and the user allows one of the suggested videos to be played, the algorithm learns that there's a relationship between the video watched and the video suggested. Exactly how the algorithm works is a bit of a black box. Some of its internal logic is the algorithm's learned behavior, a process that takes place without human intervention, is internal. Google did publish a white paper in 2016 that reveals the engineering behind the design. The formula incorporates every moment that a video is watched as a positive number, while videos that are not clicked end up as negative numbers, failures adding to a negative watch time. Covington, Adams, and Sargin, 2016. A user's demographics, which we see in Figure 1 as example, age, and gender, is mentioned as long as with items in a user's history is supposed to be accurately determining what kind of videos the person might want to watch next. Covington, Adams, and Sargin, 2016. The other fashion is search query tokens, which would imply that the keywords a user types in a search would follow them around and inspire future recommendations. Covington, Adams, Sargin, 2016. Let's get this right here again. The intent of the engineers was to maximize exposure of advertisement on YouTube, which is problematic, but not as malicious as the actual outcome we see the algorithm performing. The Google engineers measured their success by watch time and click-through rate, which tells us that their goal is to make more videos, which creates more opportunities for users to click on videos or advertisements. Covington, Adams, and Sargin, 2016. Since YouTube's main source of revenue is from advertisers, the most obvious goal is to encourage users to click on the advertisement. The two sides of the YouTube algorithm, one facet represents the design and intent of the algorithm by the engineers, the other facet is represented as the unknown factor because the algorithm is a learning neutral network and has created some connection on its own through machine learning. Machine learning is distinct from programmed response in that its behavior as a behavior that the computer has improved upon on its own, often using pattern recognition to determine a better and faster way to attain the original directive which is set by the human engineer. The educated guess is supported by data that conclude that the second facet of the YouTube algorithm may be operating in some ways which were intended by its creators. An independent test was done. Each query in a fresh search section with no personal account or watch data informed the algorithm except the geographical location and time and date effectively, or watch data informing the algorithm except for geographical location, time and date effectively demonstrate how YouTube's recommendations operate in the absence of personalization. Old Donovan, Walsall, McDonald, Clifton, and Wolf 2019. So this sources within what I'm talking. You can check afterwards. After more than 140 such tests, the observers decided YouTube's recommendation engine algorithm isn't a partisan monster. It's an engagement monster. Its only governing ideology is to wrangle content, no matter how tenuously linked to your watch history, that it might keep you glued to your screen for a few seconds. Donovan et al. 2019. Indeed, this is the popular theory that YouTube's algorithm is not trying to teach or convince the user to convince them to watch the videos on the site. So basically saying that YouTube just wants you to watch videos, even if what the commentator is talking about, they're not fiction, they're not talking fact, they're not using sources, they're just talking absolute rubbish. That's fine. YouTube will just say, keep watching this, rather than you watch somebody who's probably talking fact. A Turkish techno-socialist has studied YouTube ever since she was had an unexpected experience with it as she researched the 2016 presidential election campaign. While doing research for an article, she watched several Donald Trump rallies on YouTube, which led to the recommendation engine to autoplay white supremacy rants. Oh, look at this. I had 4,000 YouTube censored and deleted my channel. There you go, brother. That's no surprising. You're the right complexion for it, as I'll continue. While the researcher here we go again, sorry. She watched several Donald Trump rallies on YouTube, which led to the recommendation engine to autoplay white supremacist rants, Holocaust denials, and other disturbing content. To Fakey 2018, even though racist content was the trigger that caused to Fakey to think that the algorithm's overall intent was not racist in nature. For its lofty rhetoric, Google is an advertising broker, selling our attention to companies that will pay for it. The longer you stay on YouTube, the more money YouTube makes. YouTube is a profitable company driven by online advertising, and we know that the goal of our algorithm is to drive users to use the service as much as possible, optimizing the chance that the user will click on an ad, therefore generating revenue for the website. Complex goal-based decisions using a set of independently operated computer programs that mimic the human brain, often called a neural network. YouTube uses a neural network learning algorithm that perpetrates content to users. The algorithm may have found an unexpected relation between racism and the right amount of curiosity that prompts a person to continue to watch YouTube videos. Two academic researchers made a visualized data map of 13,529 YouTube channels, starting with the top most popular channels from opposite political perspectives, recreating the YouTube algorithm in an attempt when it was recommending increasingly extreme political content. Kaiser and Ralph Flexion 2008, they found tightly bound relationship between the right-leaning content on YouTube, specifically Fox News, Alex Jones on white nationalists, along with conspiracy theorists, anti-feminist, anti-political correctness channels, and a channel called the Manosphere, Kaiser and Rauchfeld 2018. The connection between these channels was more tightly knit and closer together on the right-leaning side than it was the left-leaning one. The authors found this highly problematic because a user who pursues even mildly conservative content is only 1 or 2 clicks away from extreme right channels, conspiracy theories, and radical content. Kaiser and Ralph's 2018. There was a multitude of other data, including visualizing data, including non-political channels such as video games, guns, music, and tech, which are individually popular up their own, but not interconnected in the way the right wing. Where am I going here? I've gone back here. Let me go back up. Sorry. The right-wing communities within YouTube are connected. Kaizen, Ralph last reflection 2018. Since the algorithm has made the unlikely, it has a bias of recommending racist or white supremacist videos more to users. The surprising outcome of this machine learning is that the algorithm is showing unexplained bias to suggest alternative right content to users, even promoting it to an inflated presence on the website without prior prompting of its presence. I'll read one more article, I'll read one more paragraph, and then you guys can check the article. Can read yourself. Company raised concerns about the mass of false, incendiary, and toxic content that the world's largest video site surfaced and spread. Bergen 2019. A user-run video database without moderation is dangerous on its own, but it's not exactly what is happening here. The algorithm was interfering with people's preferences and seemed to be pushing racist and alternative right propaganda to the surface. An employee of YouTube proposed a new vertical in 2000 to group its mountain of video footage, suggesting that the section of video should be dedicated to the alternative right. Bergen 2019. Based on engagement, the hypothetical alt-right category sat with music, sports, and gaming as the most popular channels on YouTube, an attempt to show how critical these videos were to YouTube business. Bergen 2019. While the one employer's efforts may not reflect the values of YouTube company as a whole, they will not be the first to notice a trend in a massive amount of white supremacy. The Southern Poverty Law Center has articles as early as 2007 which mention how difficult, how compared to dropping pamphlets on lawns, posting video footage on video sharing sites is vastly less difficult, expensive, risky, and time-consuming, and can be done anonymously with virtually no effort. Mock 2007. YouTube has always had hate speech policies, but recently updated the policies in 2019 to specifically target white nationalists by condemning behavior that might justification and domination of individual groups, or deny that a well-documented violent event took place, such as the Holocaust, which is a conspiracy theory that is popular with many members of the alt-right hate speech community. 2019. There was evidence that YouTube knew about the problematic content in 2017 because of Susan Wojcik, whoever her name is, mentioned it in 2018 Wired interview that we started working on making sure we were removing violent extremist content. But what we started doing for the first time last year was using machines to find this content, identify the content, and lo and behold, the machines found a lot more content that we found. Thompson 2008, that Wojcik both admits that the extremist content is problematic and claims that we see there was a lot more of it than the human searchers were able to find, means that YouTube does not seem to have some secret alt-right agenda, but is preoccupied and does not consider a top concern. During the same wide interview, Wojcik was asked about the morality and responsibility, but she said the company is not sure where they stand in moral concerns, adding, we don't want it to be necessarily us saying we don't think people should be eating donuts, right? But it's not a place to do that. So let me just read a little bit. Maybe I'll leave it there because this is a lot more. There's a lot more in it as well, and you need to check it out for yourself. The article is there, but that's just the start of things. And as I said, you can check the article out, read it yourselves, and YouTube. What's really going on YouTube and how they are moving, and what YouTube's really about. So the articles there, the information, please get the information, please share the information around as much as you can. The article is there. Again, I'll just share the article again for you. There's the article there, and there, and there. I'll also put the article in the description box of this video as well, so you can check it out for yourselves. Have a read, have a good read, check it out. That is information for you there about YouTube. I've been banging on about this YouTube before. They're actually in court at the moment, YouTube. They're doing it. There's a case, a lawsuit has been put against YouTube because of the findings of the way they're suppressing certain YouTube channels. So YouTube, I've got a huge lawsuit ahead of them at the moment. So there you go. Education is power. You know, knowledge is power. If you read, you will find out more information. But there you go. There's quotes in there. Love to know your comments and your thoughts about this. Let's see, cool, and how you feel about YouTube. Right. That's it for me. Thank you for watching. This has been BWTM as always. And don't forget, you can get us on Facebook, BWTM Sports, BWTM Africa, our gaming channel, BWTM Gaming.